One day, my daughters and I went downtown to take a look at this mural that was painted. There were images of workers, some trees, these two women, maybe girls. My daughters liked those. They stood in front, posed with them. There was an earth goddess, eagle, musical notes. There's my daughter by these women. There was a police officer seeming to wrestle with nature itself. Cactus. A close-up of those women. Baby. There's a police officer next to this thing that was a calla lily, but people said later maybe it was a pig. There's that eagle. There's the earth goddess. Next to the earth goddess, someone from the community named Charlie Landros. I knew the mural wasn't going to last. Chief Skinner called it divisive. And ongoing trauma and pain. The officer who killed Charlie Landros said that the artist should be held accountable.
Stochastic terrorism is the use of mass communications to incite random actors to carry out violent or terrorist acts that are statistically predictable but individually unpredictable. In short, remote control murder by lone wolf.
Put another way, a stochastic terrorist is someone who is responsible for the situation or incident. They use mass media, such as radio, television, and various internet channels, to rile up their audience and inspire hatred towards a particular person or a group of people.
Terrorism basically is a rhetorical strategy to create violence from one group towards another by establishing a conflict between the two groups, finding as its solution a violent act.
And it's this thing called stochastic terrorism. What stochastic terrorism refers to are public speech acts by prominent figures which are deliberately designed to inflame tensions.
Right,
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by, but I'll tell you what.
So it might be dehumanizing language against racial or minority groups. It might be desensitizing us to the idea of sexual violence, or it might be rhetoric which normalizes the idea of a coming civil war.
Ludwig, you will search the woods. Those are your group. Herr Frankenstein, you will take to the mountains. Those are your people. I will lead the third group by the lake. Remember, get him alive if you can, but get him.
We should devote resources to studying it. We should devote resources to disarming it. But the fact is, to the best of my knowledge, there is nowhere in the world where there is a center, where there is a department, where there is a government agency, where there is an NGO specifically devoted to the study of dehumanization. So although we may say, oh, what a terrible thing, wasn't it terrible what happened in Rwanda, what the Nazis did to the Jews, what happens in wars all the time? We pay lip service to our concern.
Golden Dawn have taken to the streets of the Greek capital, Athens, in an anti-immigration protest. Marchers expressed fury at the number of migrants remaining in Greece since the closure of the Balkan route into Europe.
We would like to follow a policy like Donald Trump is doing in the...
There's a reason, of course, that no one talks about dehumanization and that we don't study it. Dehumanization is the foundation upon which all violence against other human beings is founded.
This systemic dehumanization is communicated through the dominant narrative. This is a lens through which reality is represented. It's a story of truth that is curated by those in power, that centers the humanity and perspectives of white heterosexual cis men above and over all others. This capitalist cultural machine operates in binary thinking that categorizes us into a hierarchical structure based on our closeness to or our contrast to said white heterosexual cis men. It is reinforced through our government, our institutions, and individuals. And by and large, the public both passively and actively consumes, upholds, and replicates this narrative of white supremacy and heteropatriarchy.
And at some point, you've got to recognize that there is a pattern here. They might.
In Oregon, the story is of manifest destiny, where white people will finally find their true ascendancy, and everyone else will be gone.
Ludwig, you will search the woods. Those are your group. Herr Frankenstein, you will take to the mountains. Those are your people. I will lead the third group by the lake. Remember, get him alive if you can, but get him. But search every ravine, every crevice, but the fiend must be found. Are you ready? Light your torches and go.
So in stochastic terrorism, you stand up on a platform and you point your finger and you target the monster. I love this scene because it shows us something really important. It shows us that the effect of pointing your finger, going out and engaging in violence, it's terrifying basically to everybody else. Because everybody knows that this violent power could be turned on them.
The radicalization of violent right-wing extremists doesn't just happen in the dark corners of 4chan, it happens in the broad daylight of mainstream discourse.
In a response to a friend's email to the city, I don't know who it was that sent the response, but someone from the city sent the response that the folks who developed the murals content were using Mr. Landero's face as a representation, as a symbol of activism. And that's fine, but I think I would encourage us to consider the idea that some symbols are more controversial, some symbols are more hurtful than others. If we were to invest in a mural with a traitor flag or a Confederate flag on it, or swastika on it, some people would find great offense at that symbolism. And I think that this particular symbol, the rest of the mural, I don't understand the use of the officer there entirely, but I don't think that's necessary either. But I hope we're going to correct that, as opposed to leave a symbol that's offensive to so many. Would you like to comment on where we are with that, Sarah?
Sure. Well, Renee's team is preparing. I did ask him to prepare a response.
Does is make the likelihood of violence by so-called lone wolf actors more probable without directly inciting it.
Oh, he got a gun! He got a gun! Fuck you!
Get down. Run! Rita, run! Holy fuck! They shooting. I felt them bitches go by. No way, he shot that motherfucker? Oh my god, he shot the guy. Holy fuck. He shot him.
Holy fuck.
Call 911, he's down!
Okay, you should have mind your business!
This dude running did it. Take screenshots. That dude shot him. That nigga just shot that dude. Cranium that boy. He just shot a man.
Citywide curfew shut down so we can arrest anybody who's walking around. Okay. My command wanted me to come talk to you guys and request that you guys secrete either inside the business center, so we're in your vehicle somewhere where it's not a violation. I don't think so we don't look like we're playing favorites. We can go into your...
Okay, check out this guy in orange here. He's about to punch that kid. So who's he, right? Guy's in orange. Now check it out. Kind of looks like a trigger for all the cops to come in. Now the cops are jumping on this girl. All those cops are jumping on that girl. But that guy, he just walked away.
Okay, let's get into audience questions for the week. First one is from Henny. Henny says, David, you've talked about the concept stochastic terrorism before. Could stochastic terrorism ever be prosecuted as a crime if you could prove why an individual committed a certain crime, if it was based on what they saw on TV, said by a particular journalist or pundit? Okay, I think the answer is probably not, no. So for people who don't know, stochastic terrorism is the idea that if you have a big platform and you go out on that platform and you say day after day after day, so-and-so is a terrible person and something needs to be done about them. They are kidnapping children and killing people, whatever, right? And you say, this person is a problem. This person is a problem. Given a sufficiently large enough audience of people, you would start to realize that the probability that at least one person in that audience, by virtue of having heard you say, this is a bad person we need to do something about, is actually going to go out there and might attack the person you've been demonizing, or might kill.
A long-held and cherished vision of reconnecting the city to the
It's essentially a pyramid scheme where some people own the land.
District along the Willamette River, all now within reach.
Some people get to rent it, and some people are kept out.
14 acres of waterfront property.
They're kept out by this gate that we call violence.
The EWEB property is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our.
In order for people to know that they're in,
to create a new downtown neighborhood, an inviting place for the entire community.
Other people have to be kept out.
An exciting and vital place for people to live, work, play, and to explore.
Once completed, this currently underused area will include new streets, paths, and public amenities.
So how did we get this land in the first place?
A 3-acre riverfront
killing indigenous people.
Open spaces for the community to enjoy, as well as the.
How did it stay so white?
Historic steam.
The exclusion of black people. And most important, how does it stay this way?
Prospective developers, the city will ensure the redevelopment fulfills the EWEB Riverfront Master Plan, a blueprint originally drafted with input from more than 1,000.
The master plan is white people.
EWEB is very proud to have participated and supported an inclusive citizen process in the development of the master plan for this property.
With so many involved and invested, this project will serve as a source.
They're the people who are included in the story, and they're people who are not included, who are disappeared from the story. They're gone. They don't get to say what they think. They don't get to express their point of view. They're simply disappeared.
Largest sporting event in the world that year, and a lasting legacy in our community for generations
Let's
to come.
welcome everyone in the world to our white utopia built on violence. I really think it's a surprise that Eugene has more hate crimes per capita than any other city in America.
Search every ravine, every crevice, but the fiend must be found. Are you ready? Light your torches and go!
The mural got defaced with blue paint. But when we're talking about stochastic terrorism, what we see is we see an entire community. We see police, we see our city councils, we see all these people who have access to the media, and what they're doing is they're creating this terroristic environment, not just of one lone wolf, but of an entire culture. It's an entire culture of terrorism.
Traitor flag or a Confederate flag on it, or swastika on it. But I hope we're going to correct that.
Remember this picture? These girls have been decapitated by blue paint. Even that small amount of territory on an alley, a back alley in Eugene, even that couldn't be allowed. Even that was too much to let them have.
Police brutality is not just, like what is happening physically, it's also mentally, and I'm talking about specifically the way the Latino indigenous mural was targeted and the way it was talked and the way the community was harassed and persecuted because of the mural. I think I want to tell you that we do not appreciate your words. We do not appreciate you censoring the voice of the community by using your power and using the media and silencing in a way that the community never had the opportunity to release their press release or any of the photos or video that was made to show to the people like the story behind the mural. And all that was censored by you, Chief Skinner. And I want you to know that silencing our community is another type of brutality we're suffering. And the fact that the mural has been destroyed and it was empowered by your voice. And I want you to know that that is also police brutality. Maybe you haven't touched us, maybe we have not been brutalized, but the fact that a mural that was created with love, that was indivisive, I just want you to know that the division, we didn't do it. The division is historical, and the role of police against BIPOC people, especially indigenous peoples and people of color, is a historical thing. We didn't write Manifest Destiny. We just created a mural that show what is happening in here. And the same way that Black Lives Matter, and in the whole country, we can see that is happening. But when we come back home and come to Lane County, and we know that in here, there is 2 people from our community that were killed, and the news, they say that you know, it was okay. I'm talking about Charlie Landeros and Lely Borio Rodriguez because they are part of our community. And you know, you and your voice, dehumanizing a person that the whole community is trying to humanize, that is brutality too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, Erica. We are over time, so we'll need either a motion to extend or a motion to adjourn.